Hello, everybody. I want to talk. Hello, everyone. I want to go over your final project. Okay, it's Module 7. It's Learning Module 7, and it's time for us to bring all of our hard work together. Okay, so basically, what you're going to have to do is this. First of all, go into Module 7. The topic of Module 7 is feminism and critical race theory. And it may inform your analysis to some degree. And if you happen on a new theory, that's great. But we need to capitalize on the work that we've done so far. So I'm going to go over in a rather rote fashion exactly what you're going to need to do and what you've already done. Completed the milestones thoroughgoingly and done pretty well on those and read my feedback on those milestones, then you know already what to do. You've already done most of your final podcast. Your final podcast is 10 to 15 minutes long, okay? And you can read the intro. It's your role-playing, your sociology podcast or radio station. Okay, so what you're going to do are the following. I'm going to go over these very clearly and very much by rote. First, introduction. You're going to begin your podcast by identifying the film and providing a concise overview of the film. Do not spend most of your time giving an overview of the film. A lot of people have gotten caught up in introducing the characters over and over again. You need to do some of that. You need to pull that in a more concise way. It's kind of an intro. Think of it as an introductory paragraph. Then your sociological approach. You're going to explain that to the audience. Personal and social assumptions. Identify major social issues in the film and how they're depicted in the film. Sexism, alienation, deviant behavior, anomie. Identify personal and societal assumptions about the film or the identified what preconceived notions and biases exist regarding the film or social issues identified. And then explain how sociological theory is going to challenge personal and social assumptions. So that's in part 2. 3 parts. There's 3 parts to part 2. In part 3, the sociological view, you're going to select an issue and identify the social phenomenon influencing the social issue and substantiate your identification of the social problem with research. Many of you have already done this. Again, if you've completed your earlier milestones, you have what's called a scaffolding from which you can build on it. You can apply an appropriate classical theory and an appropriate contemporary theory. Now, we've already talked, if you've read in depth the theories and not just kind of the surface, you know that Durkheim, for example, is much more than just saying that deviance is normal. Okay, he also talks about anomie or normlessness too. So you're going to have to go back and read that, or Marx similarly. Yes, it's about class conflict, but in what manner? In what manner are we talking about class conflict? So then you're going to have to identify a contemporary sociological theory and apply. You'll now locate 2 sociological articles. You've already done that. If you've already done that successfully, and I've identified that you've done that successfully, you don't need to do that again. But if you didn't, if you kind of glossed over that and then got stuck in just going, oh, this is conflict theory, and you haven't, you're going to need to do that. Okay? Differences between an article and articles of opposing perspectives. I've talked through some with some of you about that. And so by inferences, you can make about the social issue These are representations of social issues. We want not to get hung up with them being social issues themselves. Okay? Based on your analysis, finally in conclusions, you'll now form some conclusions about the film. Which theory and opinion related to your selected issue do you most closely align yourself with and why? Many of you have done a good job of that when you were talking about postmodernism versus critical theory. And how does the film challenge or validate social stereotypes? And using your sociological lens, do you think the film positively or negatively impacts society and why? So then finally, in a sort of in part 6, you're going to tie your theory to real world relevance, to real world data. Compare the representations of the social issue in the film to how the social issue exists in the real world. Justify a response. Would you apply the same previously selected classical and contemporary theories to the same social issue in the real world? And you can explain how the use of sociological theory can help you and the audience challenge personal and societal assumptions. Now, if you go back and you review your milestones and you review the text of your milestones, you'll have done well. So, the next point I want to talk about are in terms of deliverables. Okay, mods will do. It's graded separately, and you have a final project rubric here. So you're going to be graded on the introduction, the film, the overview, sociological approaches. All of these elements here, if you see down here, you're going to see how you're going to be graded on each of these elements. Okay? For a total of 100. All right. You really need to read this rubric completely, and please do it as soon as possible. Okay? You all have done excellent work so far. I want to see you incorporate, capitalize your excellent work, and you're going to be doing fine, just fine. Have a good week. A couple of other points I would make. I am available for live, real-time meetings. If you tell me when you are available, usually late evenings, perhaps between 9 and 10 p.m., I'm in the Eastern time zone in the United States. That may or may not work for you. If it doesn't, let me know when you're available, and we'll try to make an arrangement to have a real live chat, video chat. I had a successful one with one of your classmates, and I think it helped a whole lot. Okay? So I'm available. Avail yourself. But please communicate with me and let me know what's going on. That's the first point. Second, if there are any outstanding assignments that you haven't turned in, SNU policy, that's SNHU policy, I have to give you a 0 as a placeholder until you submit work. This is a university policy. It's not me trying to be, intractable, but I am held accountable for your grades. Okay, so I've been going through, and you have to let me know what's going on. I cannot take a data dump. In other words, I can't take you turning in 7 things all at once. They will not. SNU policy will not allow me to do that. So you please contact me. Let's make some sort of arrangement. Okay, take care.